Hey, this finds you confirm via divine confirmation via direct or indirect prefix. Okay, keep it short. He busy. Okay. Holy. All right now. So now when you doing this, so like I was thinking about it, like why would she have a dog, kind of thing. And then it just seemed kind of odd. And not odd, it was just my curiosity was going, right? And then all of a sudden I had like an un another thought. Just it went really fast, but then it went fast in the sense where I didn't really catch it until this re-recording. Yeah, okay. So the the Most High, he was walking me through everything. And so like the only reason like they do the destiny swaps, right, is when they try to trick the unseen to steal favor for said individual in the kingdom of light. Okay, the only way that this is really successful is when they legit have a um what you call it, an heir bloodline, like legit, but it was illegally acquired, so via like sperm, eggs. Yeah, it's serious. So be careful. That could be a big thing. And it can really tie down that the things that's supposed to be rendered to that person in the unseen. So he's the one that opens and closes the gates for provisions. So normally when they do this, it's like a wasted effort. It just is. You know what I mean? Um, because he's just like, no, I said him. Like I see what you're doing. It's just a waste of energy. But my question was like, what's the point with the dog? And then the Most High was like, and then I heard him say like a sacrifice in the unseen, and I was like, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So my mother was a dark angel. You know what I mean? So this is how like I'm able to like turn something bad for good, so that you don't have to go through what I've gone through, and that you can like be more proactive and involved in terms of um, with a sense of readiness and already in your tool set in terms of how you would interact offensively and defensively. Okay, so destiny swaps, they're dangerous in a sense. It can put you in a really tough situation, just for this illegal acquisition. You know what I mean? And for the ladies, they might try to trick up the guys. You know what I mean? Or they can subdue you. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So be careful with all your open containers. Be careful with all your food. You know what I mean? Don't leave anything. You know what I mean? Like it's serious. It's real. You know. This is a different type of rebellion. You know what I mean? So um, another thing is that so the dog, it would be like a sacrifice, right? They have to have an emotional connection of something they love. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to draw an emotional connection. So that they will, you know what I mean? Um, so it's pretty silly when you think about it, but this is just the things that the people go through and stuff like that, just to still favor, because they've been condemned and they're of the world and stuff like that. So how can you prepare yourself defensively and offensively, knowing that this thing it exists, right? Well, it goes into like being knowing, when you go through the list of higher priorities, the first elements that you should really call off the list are rebellious spirits. And then you go from the top priority to the bottom priority, right? So dark angels, dark prophets, Jezebels, right? Those are the the cream of the crop of the rebellious spirit. Okay, now all the others, I mean, they can be annoying, to say the least. But these in particular, they don't interact with truth, and they have their own sense of entitlement. So both sides really don't like them, and they're problematic. To control. So be careful. They're manipulative. They're self-involved. They're the whole shebang, right? So, and yeah. So here's one example. We had a pet cat, and this cat that we all had like an attachment to, and but the cat was in heat and whatever, and she wasn't spaded, and so our mother told us to like put her on the curb. And so we're like, wait, what? You want us to like get rid of the family cat just like randomly? This is like random, you know what I mean? And then, it wasn't like this was she started like, marking her territories and stuff like that. But normally, it wouldn't be like big thing, we just clear it up and then keep moving. And but this time she's like, no, take it out, and then no one wanted to take it out. So we all kind of like chipped in and take it out, and then everybody looked at each other like, oh, I can't do this. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm like, why would she take it to like the homeless shelter, or like to the vet, thing, you know what I mean? And so I end up like, I'm like, okay, just whatever, you know, just so we can go back and whatever, you know what I mean? And I just looking at I'm like, that's just so heartless, you know what I mean? And that just did not sit right with me. Like I went back and that whole place is just weird, you know what I mean? And like my eyes at her were just looking like ill, you know what I mean? And it was, I meant that with like the most respect, but it changed things, in terms of relationships and stuff like that. And so, but Lord and behold, Holy Lord, whatever. And she was up to some other stuff, you know what I mean? And so she ended up, I mean, she's doing a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to air out dirty laundry and stuff like that. But what the thing is, so we can tie this into my story, okay? So we don't have the conclusion to the other sad person, but there are similarities between my person or me and my mother and stuff like that, because she is a dark angel, okay? So because she did like this kind of ritualistic thing, what it did was it ended up making me come into agreement with becoming that cat. So I became like an scapegoat. Then you hear what I'm saying? I became an scapegoat to a family cat that we all had an emotional attachment to, including she did as well. So when that cat left, it never had a home, and now I am it's kind of like it's coming to pass in terms of it's swapping the destiny of that cat with me, so that the inheritance that in the unseen is not like necessarily free, but it's like untied. It's confused, where it's to go. You know what I mean? Until like the divine kind of like like allocated, you know what I mean, where it's supposed to go. But demonic forces come and try to be at the gate right upon when it's supposed to be released, because what it tricks into thinking that that person is still, viable, and it's still, whatever the case may be. But angels report, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's nothing, you know what I mean? And then me, I pray. Even when I was young, I was praying. So at like teenage, I was still praying. You know what I mean? So he knew what was going on. And it wasn't like anything was getting like under the radar. So the reason I say this is that be careful with rituals, and then be careful So there's apparently different types of dark angels with different abilities. So this one might not have the knowledge that it needed to do it via direct, I guess. You know what I mean? Um, there's some other alchemy things that's like an abomination that you do with pets and stuff like that. And so, you know, mm, you know the things it's just weird. I mean, it's not weird. I just, you know what I mean. But I say all this to say that there's two different ways in terms of how destiny swaps can come about. Okay, with the lesser knowledge one and the one that's more ready to pursue and take, without asking. So typically, those individuals are of significant power, um, positioning to do so, and they have a full team. So be careful. So if you're like elevating and you get so happy, and then you put yourself in certain situations where now you have elite people around you, know that with uh, new elevation comes new problems and new demons and new demonic angels, higher level. Okay, so stay on your toes and stuff like that. So the lower tiers, the higher you go, the bigger the issue, and legit, like the more expertise that they have to take what they want without you knowing, doctors and all in it. Okay, so sad to admit, but take this correct, direct, indirect confirmation.